And we are live on this freezing April morning in beautiful downtown Crestline. My coffee's behind me. Let me get it. At least the sun has come out. Yesterday it was solid rain and fog all day. Horrible. Horrible. And of course, I have to mail my income tax forms, although I'll probably get an extension of time because it's so hard to fill them out. Hi, Howard. Hi, Jason. Actually, Jason was here first. Low tea. Coffee, tea, and water every morning. And I've been up since about 4 in the morning. Woke up, couldn't go back to sleep. My bladder rules me. Ooh, Jason has 2 job interviews. Excellent. Um, well, I'd say good luck, but I think I'd rather say go get 'em. Because I know you don't need that much luck. You've got the get up and go and the skill. But a little luck never hurt. Oh, okay, water. Coffee, tea, and water. This has to move. Yeah, I'm considering putting my mug on a coffee mug. If I can get a decent picture of myself drinking coffee, maybe my listeners would like to have a cup of coffee with me. Oh, that's who Jason is. Okay. Well, anyway, I had something to talk about, but then I watched a few clips of the news. Ugh. Well, let's see. Oh, is Witta here? Hi, Witta. My mouse isn't in, my cursor isn't in the slot. Here we go. Ah, well, I was going to talk about how the Nazis won World War II. Germany lost, but the Nazis. Germany lost, but the Nazis won. They just moved the battlefield. They, pulled up stakes and moved to the Americas. More resources, more cheap labor, etc. Yes, Operation Paperclip was part of it, Howard, but apparently they got in really good with the governments of Argentina, Chile, and other South American countries. Where they could have huge landed estates and do whatever they wanted. Ah, Lord. There's my cigarette smoke running up the webcam. I got to get a proper clip or something to hold the webcam. Ah, Lord, it is 30 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 2 degrees below freezing. In April? Jeez. It's supposed to be spring. Yeah, Admiral Byrd, there's some disinformation about him and Antarctica, but he definitely encountered something that made him turn tail and run, and he was not a coward. I'm sure they had bases in Antarctica because it's so close to South America where they set up their biggest camps, their estates. Let's see. Yeah, Mae Brussels, that lady was amazing. She got the published Warren report about the JFK assassination, and it had no index. So she went through it and made an index. Must have taken hours and hours and weeks and months, and she did it. Anyway, she did other things too, because, back then, since John F. Kennedy was a Democrat, everyone was talking about a vast right wing conspiracy. And they were not called conspiracy theorists. But when conservatives started talking about a vast Democrat conspiracy, oh, they were wingnuts. They're all in it. Doesn't matter whether it's a D or an R after the name. Many of them change parties the way we change our shirts. Yeah, hollow earth people. Well, the earth is hollow like a Swiss cheese. We have lots of caves, caverns, huge spaces underground. But it isn't hollow the way the hollow earth people say. Yeah, see if I remember correctly. The Nazis invaded Queen Maud land. I think it belonged to Norway or Sweden. And so they were really the first country attacked by Nazi Germany. Let me see if Google will tell me. Queen Maud land, Norway, a Norwegian area in Antarctica. And of course, the Nazis called it Neuschwabenland, the new Swabian land. I wonder what Swabian is. I should know. Cultural, historic, and linguistic region in southwestern Germany. Ultimately, the name is ultimately derived from the medieval Duchy of Swabia. Oh, yeah. Germany did not really exist before Kaiser Wilhelm II, who unified all these little duchies. He was a Prussian. Hi, Jan, in the chat. Um, There's Bavaria and Swabia and Prussia, which was basically a great chunk of what today is Poland. And there was Schleswig Holstein, where the Holstein cows come from, Holstein, and so forth and so on. And this Prussian military guy, Kaiser, which is German for Caesar, Wilhelm, unified several duchies and created Germany. The French call it Allemagne, which is actually the name of one of the duchies. Apparently, Allemagne and Swabia or Swabia combined forces. They basically became one alliance. But then Wilhelm, kind of annexed them. Yeah, we call it Swabia with an SW, but in German it's Schwabia, SCHW. Okay. I love my chat room. You guys are so smart and informed. Oh boy. Oh, come say hi to your adoring fans, Tora. Says, no, I don't want to. Where's my treats? Oh, she's so big. Oh, you weigh a freaking ton. Oh, such a good, sweet girl. Yeah, I know. Treats. Didn't even have to tell her to hop down. Yes. Anyway, it's cold outside. I have the heater blasting. And the little electric fan heater going too, pointed right at me. It's cold. Shouldn't be this cold in April. Our winter actually began last October, weather-wise. It should have been autumn, but it was raining and snowing and icing up and foggy. You see, when you're down in the valley and you see clouds, we're in the fog. So the heating bills were killing me. And I'm going to have another big one, but not as big. It should warm up in a day or two. Oh, the Warren Report. Do you know that Gerald Ford was on the Warren Commission? He claimed that he did not want to do it, but LBJ, the president who succeeded Kennedy, talked him into it. That is one of the reasons why he couldn't get reelected after he finished Richard Nixon's second term. The other one, of course, was the catastrophic withdrawal from Vietnam. By the way, Gerald Ford was a Republican. The Warren Report, gave rise to the magic bullet meme. Yes, Tora, you want to say hi again? Oh, well, if you want more treats, you've got to say hi again. Oh, such a big girl. Look at the kitty cat. Look at those patty paws. Oh, look at your tummy. Cats don't like it when you get their tummy. So I really just got her chest. All right, here you go. There. Where's Sweetie Pie? Doesn't she want some treats? I could point the webcam at her if she would come and say hello. There she is. Hi, sweetie. Yes. Tora and Sweetie Pie. Let's see if I can show you Sweetie. I'm not allowed to touch her. Although, except by accident when pawing out treats. There she is, head down, eating treats. She's such a beautiful kitty cat with her little white paws and a little white mark on her chest and her tummy. Yes, she's such a beautiful kitty. And there's Tora, eating away. Oh, sweetie, sweetie pie. Where's my kitty cat's face? There she is. Hi, you. Okay, you finally got to see Sweetie. And there, here. Ah. There. Well, the dark clouds for us came in yesterday, Jason. They're gone now. Oh, we'll keep getting notifications that cover up the chat. There, here we go. And I thought I was having trouble with the computer this morning, but I just had the monitor set to talk to the DVD player. I found out that I can do that, but I have to get external speakers for this thing because the onboard speakers are blown. They sound terrible. It happens. The paper parts will get damaged. I don't know how. Maybe just old age. It's a very old flat screen. But I have to get the RCA cables. I have a set of speakers with those cables. If I can find it, you see, it's been a year and a half since some idiot moved everything I own, thinking that it was helpful to unpack my boxes, shelves, drawers, cupboards, cabinets, closets, etc., and then pack up the things that they thought I didn't need to leave out. For example, I keep a pair of pliers in the kitchen for opening bottles that I can't quite do. I can't quite unscrew sometimes, like a soda bottle or a bottle of some kind of sauce or soy sauce, Worcestershire, whatever. I found them finally in a box of tools underneath a stack of boxes. Lord. Hi, V. I know you told me who you are, but somehow you expect me to remember. Oh, Oswald. Hi, Oswald. V and Oswald, you missed the kitty cats. I even got Sweetie on the webcam. There she is, cleaning. That's kind of gross. Cleaning herself. Tora's in. Oh, she didn't like being on camera. She ran to her favorite window. I have several windows that are like little greenhouses extended out from the house, and they like to get off my chair. Just a second. Tora loves to scratch my chair. So once in a while, I put a little. Well, it's generic, but it's Vicks Vapor Rub, and you put a little bit of that on the spot they like to claw, and that it keeps them off of it. They don't like the eucalyptus oil. Problem is, it wears out, and then they go back to clawing that spot. And some materials can be damaged by it. I'd rather have a little stain than have it shredded by cat claws. I have to figure out how to make Google quit doing these little notifications with the bell. It covers up my chat room. Let's see. Yeah, I I got so embarrassed I couldn't reach the Whoppers. And the clerk that got it down for me was no taller than I am. Let me show you Whoppers. Where are they? I just bought some. Where'd I put it? Ah, oh dear. Ah, there. Whoppers. Malted milk balls covered in what they claim is chocolate. I beg to differ. Even a friend of mine who is allergic to chocolate can eat Whoppers. Mm. Okay. Whew. My hair is all poofy. You see, it's cold, but there's no humidity. Oh, hi, HB. In the chat room. And Two Flagger. Oh, I was going to call you Two. I just typed Two Flag. What in a spray bottle? Gotta go up a little. Oh, yeah. I don't. Once in a while, I buy some ladybugs for my roses. Uh, well, Howard, I think a eucalyptus spray might work. Keep cats off. They don't like the smell and they don't like the feeling on their claws. So, anyway, it works. Then it's on my finger, but that's okay. I like the smell of it. Anyway, yeah, the Nazis won. So his Philip K. Dick's novel, The Man in the High Castle, is not completely fiction. I mean, he was watching, for example, cheap Japanese imports flooding our markets. And of course, Operation Paperclip, all kinds of Nazi, like the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, which, by the way, was a Democrat organization. They loved to use swastikas, and they thought Hitler was a genius and he had some wonderful ideas. Okay, Jason, go knock him dead with your interviews. Oh, and he will be listening. Okay, it's time for my break to recycle some coffee. And so I'll be right back. Don't go away. Oh, Lord. Oh, dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum-de-dum. Now I gotta have another Whopper. I never should have mentioned them. Hi, Vican. Oh, my chat room is filling with wonderful people. Okay. Let's see how the battery's doing. I have a hotspot on the phone, which I'm using today. I better plug it in or I'll lose it. Whoops. That's better. Okay. The weirdest thing about the wealthy and powerful elites is not so much their philosophy as their religion. They'll claim to be atheists. They worship the devil. And they believe that they are gods, literally, like the Nephilim of Genesis chapter 6. All the royal families of Europe and China, by the way, have always believed that they were descended from the gods. Oh, Camelio. Yes. The author sent me a copy of Camelio. I have to look up his name because there's another author with a quite similar name and I don't want to get it wrong. So let me see. Camelio. Here we go. Robert Guffey. Whoa. Ugh, I'm pointing it at the monitor instead of the camera. Yeah, he didn't sign this one. I have a bookmark in here for some reason. On page 86. Huh. No, that's not about Phil. I don't think it has an index, no. It's an amazing story of some poor drug addict who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, Camilio brings out his, in particular, his research about invisibility technology, which is real. It's meant to look like a field manual. The subtitle is A Strange But True Story of Invisible Spies, Heroin Addiction, and Homeland Security. Rev Perry's here. I don't see Rev Perry. Oswald. I see Abrahamic Botanica. Welcome in. That must be who Rev Perry is. Okay. Ah. I'm glad that cigarette smoking is not a mortal sin. I'd be going to hell for sure. Anyway. Oh, British Valentinian Gnostic clergyman or something like that. Abrahamic Botanica. It's a website, I guess. Books and Sanctuary. All right. Well, I'm not too much into Gnosticism because of the idea that we can become gods. Don't like it. Why would we want to become gods when we're this marvelous creation? Of course, we need that new world, the new heavens and new earth that God promised us. Phil adopted some elements of Gnosticism more than I do, but not the thing. He still expected Jesus Christ to come back and wipe out the evil Nephilim who are oppressing humanity, and to clean up the earth so there's no more death and no more suffering. Oh, Catholic. Well, the Catholic Church is too pagan for my taste. Too much emphasis on iconography. People are tempted to worship the image instead of God who made the image. Oh, Abrahamic, it's an honor for me to have you in my chat room. Let's see. There's a thingy in my way. All right. Too many cables. My wireless mouse just decided it doesn't want to work anymore. It's old. Yes, new heavens and new earth. You see, there are three, according to Dr. Michael Heiser, and I don't agree with everything he says, but he is a scholar. The problems on this earth, there are three. They have three causes. Not only the fall in the Garden of Eden, which brought death into the world. The camera's not operating. There we go. But also the Nephilim right before the flood, and then the Tower of Babel. And it wasn't just a tower, it was the city of Babylon with a huge temple, and the temple had a huge tower. There's a conference in the UK. Can I attend by Zoom? You see, I still don't have a passport. Never have had one. I'm getting ready to get one because of this real ID thing. Our Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV for short, is just isn't cooperating. When I got married, I changed my first name as well as my last name. So it's like, you know, even though I can show my records from Social Security that I'm still the same person with the same number, which wants me to say I am not a number, I'm a free woman. But anyway, no, they're just not cooperating. And when I had to send a book to Australia, the post office kept telling me they couldn't do it because of COVID. And then I went to United Parcel and they wanted $20 or more, 25, I think. So I went back to the post office one more time and a different clerk said, "Oh, this can go as a first class letter." Boom. I didn't even have to fill out a customs form. Zoom will work nicely. Let me put my email in the chat room. Yes, it's kitties cats with S's at Gmail. I don't mind people sending me emails. That's fine. I have a pretty good spam filter, but I do check that folder to make sure there's nothing in there that I want to keep. Jan, I don't think I have a tracking number for that, but I did send the book to Australia. Let me know if it arrives. I'm not sure at this moment where I put the receipt from the post office, but it would say if there was a tracking number. Let's see. Well, not in the most obvious place. I'll check it later when I'm not live on YouTube. It's around here somewhere. Well, there is one more almost obvious place, but not likely. So I can put this one on my lap. Get the hairbrush out. No, that's Ace Hardware. Nope. I should have put it in here, but I didn't. See, when I sort things, many things go into a temporary holding place. So I'll have a box of odds and ends that is to be sorted later. And that's probably where I put the post office receipt. Well, apparently the post office is not flying mail to Australia. They're sending it on boats. The virus seems to be declining in the US in terms of spreading and in terms of how serious the symptoms are. No, Tora, you're not going out until I'm done on YouTube. She doesn't meow, she squeaks. Like a bobcat. Because she's half bobcat, aren't you? You're a big girl. Not yet. You gotta wait till I'm through here. Yes, you do. Bad kitty. All right, you can have treats. Hang on. Cats. Oh, well, they give me a reason to get up in the morning. And they cuddle with me at night. Well, if I sent it media mail to Australia, I would have to fill out a customs form, and then the post office would tell me, "Oh, we aren't shipping packages to Australia." And we don't know when we will. All they're sending is first class. Because of COVID and because their budget keeps, hi Tora, getting cut. Get off my desk. Bad cat. You ain't going out till I'm done here. Okay? Hop down. Your treats bag is almost empty, and yes, it is your fault. No, it is empty, but I have another one. Just don't tell Tora that. Well, if the book doesn't arrive, I will try again. But let's give it some time. Let's see, Oswald wants to know, was Phil ever reading Rudolf Steiner? I think he had read Rudolf Steiner before I met him, but not while we were together. Most of what he read was not so much the original writings of authors as things about them. Like for history, he went to the series of books by Will and Ariel Durant. He would get the Sunday Los Angeles Times and read the reviews of books and movies, and then pretend that he had actually seen the movie or read the book. And he had books about the great philosophers. Rather than read their original writing, which was often in an old form of English that we don't really use anymore. He would take the easy way out and read these summaries and analyses that included brief quotes from Francis Bacon. He did read The New Atlantis of Francis Bacon. He was fascinated with what he read about John Dee, the alchemist who worked for Queen Elizabeth I. Yeah, I think the academics have become lazy. Whenever I dive into reading the exegesis, I feel like becoming lazy myself. Google, I don't care what Newsmax TV is saying about Joe Biden. There was a New York City subway mass shooting? Yee! Breaking news. Oh well, I'm too busy to look at it right now. I do know that Biden wants more gun control. How about some criminal control? They've decided that robbery is not a felony if you didn't use a weapon, it's just a misdemeanor. And you can be out on bail the next day. Oswald, it feels like there's a mass shooting every day. Not long ago, there was one, I think it was in Portland, Oregon. Oh well. Anyway. Oh, I've been up since a little before 4 in the morning. Let's see, Sacramento last week. Well, I just don't see how you can stop crime by disarming the victims. That's all that gun control accomplishes is to. Oh, no. Come on. I bumped something and here we go. My monitor went blank for a moment. Honest, decent, law-abiding citizens will no longer have guns. That doesn't mean criminals won't have them. Have I been writing anything? I'm still trying to finish my book about the exegesis. The book I have issued is just a sampling. It was what I had so far because it was taking so long and people were so anxious to see it. So it's a work in progress. And it's on Amazon. It's likely that you could buy it elsewhere, but Amazon works for me. They pay me the most money. And I know Amazon's evil and all that, but I don't know if you got. There we go. I don't know if you guys hear me. I was talking away when I realized that my connection was unstable. Everything else worked except YouTube. Yeah, well, Phil didn't even have a rough draft of his exegesis. All he had were his notes. Yeah, that figures. I cut out. Sorry. evil YouTube. Everything else worked. Facebook, email notifications. Oh, Camelio. It's a great book. I wish it had an index, but I'm not May Brussels, so I won't be indexing it. But yeah, he does talk about Philip K. Dick. And we were in contact for a while. He also sent me Cryptoscatology, his other book. Let me see if I have that. Look out, Tora. Yes. This is these are two of the books that I found and put where they actually belonged. It says conspiracy theory as art form. It's really about mind control. Cryptoscatology by Robert Guffey. Crypto meaning like cryptic, hidden or encoded, and scatology. Yes, it's related to the word scat. It's the study of scat, poop. Okay, what could be a of? Oh, my connection becomes unstable when some human at YouTube is monitoring my video to see if I'm saying something bad, and if I do, they'll shut me down. And yet I haven't said anything close to what I've seen and heard on other people's YouTube videos. I'm not even near to as out there as they are. And yet I did have a video taken down for misinformation once, and they won't even tell me why. What is misinformation? I don't think there's really a second sun the way you think about it in our solar system, but there is a star that's close enough that that star and our sun do have a common center of gravity. I mean, when you get down to it, our sun is part of a spiral arm, which is part of an entire galaxy. But I believe that our gas giant planets, in particular Saturn, were once larger and brighter and closer. The ancient people knew a great deal about, for example, Jupiter and Saturn. But the crazy theory, I forget which book that was at the moment, something about Saturn being above the North Pole of the Earth. No, it was simply closer. I believe that there was some kind of collision or near collision between Jupiter and Saturn that formed the rings around Saturn. And yes, there are rings around Jupiter, and that knocked both of them farther away from the Earth. Oh, Jason has a few minutes to kill. Well, kill it productively. Go over in your mind your strengths. If they ask you what's your greatest weakness, you say, Well, I take my work too seriously, and you know, if I get upset if I can't do my absolute best. That's a good weakness. If they ask you your strengths, you say, well, I don't know everything, but I can learn. It worked for me. Okay. It's nearly an hour. It's still cold with the heater blasting away. Let me see what my phone says the temperature is. 34. Wow, 2 degrees above freezing. Let me see what it is in the house. I'll go get the thingy. Um, come on, come on. Got it. It says it's 60 degrees with 2% humidity. Yeah, it's not supposed to be. Hi, Juan. It is not supposed to be this cold in April. Snow yesterday in Oregon, in the central Oregon mountains. Well, we didn't get snow, but we did get freezing rain yesterday. I'm sure the ski resorts above me got snow. Well, they like it. Down here, we're a summer resort, so it's just a pain to put chains on your car and stuff like that. Dig it out, drink some hot coffee. Well, I am drinking coffee and tea plus water, Juan. Juan Manuel Rodriguez. Well, let's see. Buenos dias. My high school Spanish isn't that great, but I remember a few things like Caramba, se me olvidó mi caderno. I used to be able to trill an R better than that. It means, oh no, or darn it, I lost my notebook. I forgot my notebook. But I do speak food taco, tortilla, tostada. Let's see, it's patatas de pobres, poor man's potatoes. Yeah, that would be nice if YouTube let you put pictures in chat. The only picture you can put in is your profile. My evil phone wants me. Uh, words with friends. That can wait. English Institute people called you John. Well, when I was studying Spanish in high school, they gave me a Spanish name, but I forgot what it was. There, let's see. Oh, yeah, that's ha ha ha, because in Spanish the letter J is jota, but you could use the H because Spanish has an H. Well, anyway, when I studied German in college, I kind of lost most of the Spanish. And I tried to learn French. Oh, it was horrible. I had to have a tutor, and I still barely got a B in French. But in German, I got all A's, and it was easy. I felt like I was just speaking English with a funny accent. It all made sense to me. French? I believe you have to be insane to speak French, and if you learn to speak French, it will drive you insane. Then I tried Russian, and it was worse than French, and it has a lot of French words too. So I'm going to brush up on Spanish. Oh, yes, Argentina's Spanish is different from Spain. Much of the Spanish I learned was Mexican Spanish. And it drives me crazy. In school, a car was automobile, automobile, and store was mercado. But the Mexican people in my neighborhood did not go to the mercado in the automobile. They went to the storo in the car-o. Well, if you go by the media, you know, these highly paid people who sit there reading the teleprompter, you know that neither their writers nor their personalities, their newscasters, can understand standard English. I'm not asking for highfalutin academics with great big words, but my lord, interesting has 4 syllables. It is not pronounced interesting. They sound like 4-year-olds who are just learning to talk. All right. Google just hid my chat room. Jason has a friend who can speak French fluently. Well, I've learned a little French by watching Hercule Poirot. You know, I've forgotten the actor's name. The British series of Poirot, the Belgian detective. Now, the actor, David something, doesn't really speak French, but his character does. Oh, that's interesting, Juan. In most South American countries, a car is a carro, but in Argentina, it's auto. Makes sense. Sometimes David Suchet, thank you, Vikan. Vikan is British. He would know. He gets to watch BBC without, well, yeah, there's a television tax, but in America, it costs an arm and a leg to watch BBC, so all I can get is the old stuff that's on YouTube. And they seem to be guarding the old Doctor Who shows. You know, you can get the new ones. I think they might be on Netflix, they might be on Amazon Prime, no problem. But the old ones, like Tom Baker, oh no, you can't get those for free or even cheap. You gotta subscribe to the BBC and pay them every month to watch shows from the 1960s and 70s. They've caught on that the true fans prefer the old shows, which didn't have the wow special effects, but they were well written and well acted. Although I kind of like, oh, come on, what? My brain quit working. I like a couple of the newer doctors. The one with the black hair who dipped fish fingers in the custard, and the one right after him who saved the doomed people on Mars and then had to go because he basically played God. Oh, why can't I remember their names? I'll see them in other shows and go, oh, that's Doctor Who. I don't go, oh, that's the actor's name. Anyway, yeah, I really like Tom Baker the best. My mouse cable decided to hang up. Yeah, David Tennant. I really liked him in, oh, Broadmoor. My family can't watch that. They can't watch Broadmoor because it's about child sexual abuse, and they just don't understand. It's really a psychological study of the two detectives. And it doesn't show any abuse, and it only vaguely refers to it. Broadchurch. Thank you, Jan. I don't know why I said Broadmoor. That's a place name, isn't it? Broadchurch. Yeah. I've watched it twice now. I might watch it again. David Tennant has such an expressive face. Now, who was the actor before him? The one who ate fish fingers and custard and got killed by an astronaut. I'm sure Viken knows. I just can't think. Apparently, those two actors appear to be friends. Maybe, maybe not. But I've seen him playing, when he was younger, playing like a sort of a Marlon Brando character, a bad boy. Oh yeah, Matt, Jan knows. Matt something, yeah. Let me see if I can get Google to help me. Matt, Doctor Who. Matt Smith. I wasn't too thrilled with the first Doctor, but after I got used to him, he was good. He is a great actor. And I've seen him in other British TV shows. I'm so disappointed in my brain just won't give me the words. The soap opera about the Victorian mansion with all the servants. Oh hell. Anyway, rather than cuss, Downton Abbey. Thank you, Vegan. I've always had a mental block against that title. It isn't an abbey. An abbey is part of a church. It's just not right to call it an abbey. Anyway, first they sent my favorite character to prison. I imagine the actor had other obligations, but he did finally come back. But then they killed off my second favorite character because that actor didn't want to do Downton Abbey anymore. Here in the States, across the pond, they would have just replaced him with an actor who was looked and sounded similar. There's some old, I'm not going to say that word, Morgan. They're visually screened from bots. Yeah, Manor. That sounds right, Deacon. Downton Manor. Okay, let's see. Hi, Morgan. Welcome in. Oh, an old Doctor Who. Now I see the context. There's some old Doctor Who on Daily Motion. Visually screened from bots? Well, it might be Tom Baker since he's so old. Wow. We're almost an hour and a quarter in. And it's still cold here. It's about 60 degrees in the house. But just a couple days ago, it was so warm that I left the doors and windows open all day. It wasn't warm enough, it wasn't hot, but it was really warm. The cats loved having all the doors and windows open. Oh, come on, Google, quit notifying me. I want to see my chat room. So anyway, yeah. In general, the best British television shows are so much better than American shows. Our TV shows go for the cheap laugh, or instead of horror, they shock you with blood and gore and guts. Well, A Nightmare on Elm Street had more than that. It actually had a story. But I go to British TV for good writing and good acting. Okay, I gotta put this gadget down. I was going to put it down a few minutes ago and forgot. Jan likes Nordic TV series. Well, I don't know them. I did like that. Forgot the title. It had Loki and Thor and their father, and the end of I mean, it's not Valhalla, the end of their home. Ragnarok? Now there's a TV series called Loki, but I am not going to subscribe to Disney in order to see it. I hate Disney. They're woke. Now I like some of the old clunky, B movies, low budget. We used to call them B movies because they were actually pretty good. They didn't have the budget for the best cinematography or special effects or big name actors. Although sometimes you'll find the actors who later became big names. But they were well written. Oh, V is watching Moonlight. I've considered watching Moonlight, but the ad, by the way, for Loki kind of puts me off. The way they do so much exposition when Loki is talking to his captor, his jailer, about the lizards who rule mankind and determine our destiny. Disney simply started going downhill when Walt Disney died. They forgot that their park in Anaheim, California is an actual park. They have actually a long history of preserving endangered species of both plants and animals in the park. Disneyland was full of living things, plants and animals. I haven't been there in ages because I'm not willing to spend $100 just to walk in the gate and then wait 2 hours to go on a ride. But I'll bet it just isn't what it was. I used to be able to go when I was under 17. You could get in for $2 or $3. You had to have tickets for the rides, but there was always someone willing to give away the tickets that they didn't want. They had A, B, C, D, and E tickets. They didn't give away the E tickets. Anyway, it was awesome just to walk around the park and note the living things there. And once in a while, I managed to get on the little cars that go around the racetrack, but it gave me a headache because they were gasoline powered and they did not have mufflers, so the fumes were awful. Oh, yeah. Disneyland does have special passages for the actors so they can get where they're going without having to try to walk through the crowd. One of my uncles actually worked at Disneyland. He helped build the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, and he later was a captain on the submarine ride. Those things are actually on a track and driven by a chain that pulls them along. But the captain would actually talk to you and read his script and tell you all about the wonderful things you were seeing under the water, the coral, the fish, etc. Oh, I think Westworld was a ripoff of Disneyland, Beacon. My water's empty. I'll be right back. Dum de dum. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Tora, you have to wait. It isn't time yet, and it's cold out. Sorry. Dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. It's Tuesday. You know the drill. Tora has resigned herself to the fact that I don't open the door when it's raining, but she can see that today the sun is out. Yeah, the tiki room. I never got to go into the enchanted tiki room. I so much wanted to, but you know what? There are clips of the tiki room on YouTube. Yes, V, good vibes to Jason in his interview. Okay, it's too cold to open the door and let the cat out. It's too freaking freezing. It is. Come on. Oh, now it's 37 degrees. No, thank you. In the winter, the real winter, we consider 50 degrees warm, whereas people down in the flatland, the valley, don't even like 60. They want it to be 70. Well, we don't get 70 in winter. Oh, Jan saw my irises. Yeah. They're all blooming now. Of course, they might have kind of gone back to sleep yesterday. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I keep hearing how wonderful it will be when the Republicans get back in power. We'll just have a whole new set of problems. Our economy might recover, but they'll probably take us to war, a shooting war. But this is not World War III. We're still in World War II. The battlefield has moved, but it's the same war. Every wealthy, entitled, powerful elite wants to be the leader of the world. Oh, here at least, they say the leader of the free world. We haven't got much freedom left. I guess we're free to pay taxes and you know, worship and adore fearless leader. But really, they're all jockeying for position. And they talk about the surplus population. There's no surplus people. Except they don't need that many people to serve them. They want fewer people because it's easier to manage and control fewer people. Oh, an early election in England, in Australia. Oh dear. Well, I think we've learned that it doesn't matter for whom you vote, because no matter who gets voted in, you're screwed. And as my parents used to say in the 1960s, President Roosevelt ended the Depression by entering World War II. Every politician knows if the economy tanks, you start a war, and even if it doesn't improve the economy, the people quit bitching about it because we're at war. Of course, we have rationing and shortages and so forth. Yeah, well, they're all Cinderella's sisters, stepsisters. Each one is uglier than the other. If you didn't like Richard, well, let's see. Let's start with LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, the crook who took over after he helped kill Kennedy. If you didn't like LBJ, here, have Richard Nixon. If you didn't like Richard Nixon, let's have Jimmy Carter and hostages in Iran. If you didn't like Carter, let's have Ronald Reagan. He was doing okay till they shot him and then he towed the line. If you didn't like Reagan, let's have George Bush, former head of the CIA, and all these undeclared wars all over the world. Don't like Bush? Okay, let's have Bill Clinton, a horn dog who plays the saxophone and continues the wars that Bush started. Don't like Clinton? Let's have Bush Jr. Oh, Saddam Hussein and Iraq, they have weapons of mass destruction. Oh, and we've got to go into Afghanistan. Never mind that the number one bad guy was in Pakistan living in luxury. He wasn't in some cave in Afghanistan. And the war in Afghanistan is not over. Yeah, we pulled out the troops, but we're still at war with them. Oh, you had stones, not hailstones, but actual rocks, Juan, falling from the sky. Oh, Jan, let's pray for your cousin who's stuck in Kiev in Ukraine. I don't know why they call it Kiev. It's always been Kiev. Or Kiev. One or the other. Granzo in English? Granito, granite. Rock or stone, I think. Let's ask Google. Oh, granito means hail. We call them hailstones, but they're made of water ice. So that's Hailsto, hailstones or hail. Oh, Kiev is the Russian way of saying it. Well, quite a few of the Ukrainians speak Russian. It's still Kiev, not Kiev, Jan. Oh, well, I guess we often slur words that used to be pronounced differently. We shorten our words, so if you read Chaucer or even Shakespeare, you'll find that things were pronounced differently. Even in the time of William Blake, our word eye, E-Y-E, like your eyes, was Iya, and the plural was Ian with an N on the end. Oh, the Nazis are still in Argentina, Juan. We just don't hear much about them. There's a book by, what's his name? forgot his name again, before he went to the dark side, about almost getting killed in a German encampment in Argentina. Yeah, well, the American government brought them in too. Unholy Alliance by Peter Levenda. This was before he got on board with the Disclosure Project, which was anything but disclosure. I can't think of the names right now. I don't want to. But they basically sold a bunch of fake uniforms to teenagers who wanted to be in the Space Force, and they were going to force the government to disclose the truth about UFOs. And they got Peter Levenda to write a book for them. And they made a movie, I think, or tried to make a movie. It was supposed to be a documentary, but it wasn't. The government cannot tell you what they don't know, and they won't tell you what they do know, so give it up. Time after time, you see U.S. senators on special committees with, top secret and better clearances show you what was disclosed of them, and the entire page is black. There's nothing to read but the page number. And frankly, there is no the government. We have so many bureaucratic agencies and offices and departments that nobody has the full picture. Wow, Jan's cousin is a minister working at the Christian University in the middle of Kiev, huh? And holds underground church for those that need it at night. Wow. I have heard allegations that the attack on Ukraine is actually a purge of the Christians, which seems weird to me because Putin himself is a faithful Orthodox Christian. I guess maybe the Christians in Ukraine are not Orthodox. They're the ones who split from the Catholic Church. And the main reason they split was over one line in the Apostles' Creed. The Orthodox do not believe that Jesus is equal to God. Yeah, one of my stepsisters married a man from, must have been, I get confused. I think it must have been Brazil. He spoke Portuguese and German. But he was ethnic German, not Hispanic and not native. Victor. I always kind of, he was very charming, but I kind of had this bad feeling about him. Yeah, I can imagine many of the uh, upper classes in South American countries do work for the U.S. We pay them very well. And big tech, of course, doesn't care about borders. But even now, with our economy tanking, people all over the world just love the American dollar because their own currency is so worthless in comparison. Time for a little hand lotion. Anyway, Victor is some kind of engineer. So, of course, he quite easily got a passport to the U.S. to visit and promptly married an American woman so he could stay. Apparently, no matter how well off you are in Argentina, an engineer can do much better here in the United States. Yeah, could be a spy V. I don't dismiss that possibility. And as fantastic as big tech is, they're horrible at security. Um, our enemies like Russia and China don't have to hack our computers. Well, China doesn't. All the parts are from China. You think they don't already have a back door into your computer and your phone? You're dreaming. And frankly, they could tank the big tech economy if they just stopped making the parts. And we should not be buying our parts from China. They're made with slave labor. Cordova is La Docta. Okay. I know Cordova is also a place in Spain, but let's see. Translate. Okay, just so I can be sure. The learned. The scholars. The well educated. Yep. We don't need enemies with the friends we've got. We we stop exporting petroleum products and then ask Europe not to buy them from Russia. What are they supposed to do? Burn coal and wood? Oh, the environment. During the early industrial revolution, entire forests were burned down, entire mountainsides were torn down to get to the coal and the various metal ores. No matter how much we do now, the pollution we produce is nothing compared to the late 1700s and early 1800s. Oh, Elon Musk. Didn't he buy part of Twitter and then refuse to sit on the board? It's all politics. Well, I hope Australia at least has given up buying parts from China, Jan. We should too. It's just ridiculous. Excellent, Jen. Of course, the U.S. hasn't. Let's see. Beacon, I have to scroll up. Whose dad was an emerald mine owner? I've lost track, Beacon. Okay, V. Oh, Elon. What's an AMA, V? All I can think of is American Medical Association. Oh, ask me anything. Interview. Got it, V. Thank you. Oh, well. Anyway, we're screwed. And I doubt that electing a third party would do much good right now. Although, when Abraham Lincoln was elected president, he was a Republican, and it was a brand new third party that supposedly had no chance. Oh, wow, Juan, an engineer earns less than a cab driver? Wow. Well, I guess engineers don't get tips. I know here some plumbers, they fix your water pipes and your gas pipes. Some plumbers make more than doctors. I mean, if I have a cold, I treat it myself at home. If my water pipes leak, I call a plumber. Tori Egger? I don't know who that is. Oh, boy. Oh, electric vehicles, yeah. Do you have any idea how much pollution is caused in the manufacturing of the batteries for electric vehicles? It's insane. And when they no longer work and you have to replace the batteries, there is no safe way to dispose of the old batteries. Yeah, they use child labor and slave labor in China and Africa to get the metals that they need. In some cases, they're actually taking our old electronics and extracting the metals from them. In other cases, they're mining, strip mining. Sorry, Juan, I don't know who Tori Egger is. Yes, well, the Spanish conquistadors and can't think of the word, the ranchers who became big bosses, they named their towns after their home in Spain. So, of course, you have Cordoba and Santa Fe. We have, um, for example, New Zealand next to Australia. It was named after Zeeland. I think that was a Dutch um, city or county. Oh, yeah. Electric cars are so quiet. Some electric cars have been equipped with a speaker that makes the sound so that you'll know it's coming. Although I think some people are just asking to get run over. Like the one time I was at a four-way stop and it was my turn to go. There were no other cars. So I rolled, started to roll after I stopped at the stop sign. And I was halfway into the intersection when a man on a bicycle rolled off the sidewalk into the crosswalk. I slammed on the brakes and I yelled something at him. Not a cuss word, just, you know, like, what are you doing? And he yelled back at me, I'm a pedestrian. No, pedestrians don't have wheels. I'm sorry. Bicycles have to stop at stop signs, and pedestrians have to stop and look around before they step into the street. And then I noticed that he had a young, very young child in a seat on the back of his bicycle. So he was risking his life and his child's life by being an idiot. I was already in the intersection. I almost hit him, and it was his fault. Well, that's way down. People of Patagonia are actually a different ethnicity, a different tribe from Argentina. The native people there. Of course, they've been intermarrying. Uh, Sorry, I gotta hide that, V. V said a bad word. It's more like, what a blankety blank. First interview is done. Yay, Jason. I bet you nailed it. None gave you the middle finger when you goofed while entering an intersection. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, even nuns can have a bad day. I have observed, I was not personally involved, but I have watched cops talking to, well, in particular, one teenage woman. She was like 18, so not really a girl. She started saying the F word to the cop, and he spewed a whole string of bad words right back at her, and he shouted them. You want to be a housekeeper, eh? They want you to be a housekeeper. Hey, why not, Jason? A job's a job. Okay, it's almost 2 hours. And I've skirted the edge enough times. I hope YouTube doesn't decide that I said something bad and take this down. I mean, there's no misinformation. The worst word I said, I think, was hell. But you never know. Anyway, I better say uh, good luck, Jason, and thank you all for listening and have a wonderful day. Yeah, let me type that. I didn't type it. Good luck, Jason. Yeah, and Tora says goodbye too. And she wants the door open, but it's still too cold. See ya.